With the internet being very prevalent in our everyday lives for the last 10 to 15 years or so, it is important to still have access to physical media. Especially with everything being tied down to a subscription service, it seems we are moving towards a digital-only world where physical media is getting completely pushed out. One of my biggest issues with digital media is that you don't technically own anything. That could go for a digital book, game, movie from Amazon Prime, or a song you downloaded from Spotify. You're only getting the license to use or stream, and that right could be taken from you at any time, regardless if you have purchased the item or not. Not too long ago, PlayStation lost their license to the Discovery Channel and had to remove any content from the Discovery Channel that people paid for. How many times have you enjoyed a movie or series on a specific subscription service only for it to be gone next week, either because they lost the right to stream it or it moved to another subscription service? And to be honest, I don't think this is a reliable way to consume your favorite content. I remember the day when The Office was moved from Netflix to Peacock, and I was just upset because either I would have to have a Peacock subscription or I would just not watch The Office anymore. I suddenly didn't realize that I could just buy the entire series on DVD as a one-time purchase, and I wouldn't have to worry about keeping up on which subscription service it ended up on. That's why I encourage people to outright own a physical copy of your favorite TV show and movie, especially with the way things are headed. Best Buy has already stopped selling CDs and DVDs both online and in the store, which is a little scary, at least to me. It's certainly not helping that one version of the PS5 is completely digital. Even game bundles or collector's editions don't even come with the disc anymore. And what's that about? Nintendo has removed several games from physical stores while already not making as many physical copies as they used to. And you can make an argument that companies want you to be able to consume media through one method. Why do you think some companies are cracking down on piracy and emulators, even though that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video? One of the reasons why I only buy physical games is because I actually like owning the game and it not being tied to my account. Look at what Ubisoft is doing. If your account remains inactive for too long, they will literally delete your account and you will lose access to all those games that you paid for. And the only way to gain that access back is to purchase the game again. And this really opens the door for shady business practices. This year, I decided to not renew my PlayStation Plus subscription because I'm not going to be paying no $80 a year. And just like that, my game library was gone. They literally snatched my chain, and that's because I never really owned any of those games. I even sold some of my games like God of War 2018 and Titanfall 2, which I regret now because I had them on PlayStation Plus. And now I either had to renew my subscription or buy the games again.
I guess I'll just buy the games again.
But I'm not going to fall for that same trick twice, and I'm definitely going to be buying them again for cheaper off the secondary market. Not to mention, since we're talking about the secondhand market, some of these digital games are still going for the same price as if they just came out. Freaking no reason for Black Ops 1 to still be $59.99. The game came out in 2010 and is 14 years old. Physical games will depreciate in value over time in a kind of a linear progression. And over time, those 10-plus-year-old games will be around $5 to $10 depending on the game, even though there are some exceptions. With physical games, you can actually trade them in and get some value back. And it is actually fun to find some good deals on those old games from the secondary market. Another thing we risk by having a primarily digital world is lost media. This is media that has been forgotten or it is not available on any format. This applies to media that has been edited or altered in any way from its original form. A good example of this is the original Star Wars trilogy. Many of those movies have been edited and altered and had scenes changed, deleted, and added. And if you were to watch those movies on the streaming service, they would have those edited versions. The only way you can watch the original film is by actually having the VHS tape. Another example is that Nickelodeon stopped airing the episode of SpongeBob where they was going through Mr. Krabs' mama house, the panty raid episode. And it was banned and even pulled off the streaming services due to it being deemed as inappropriate. And if I owned the physical copy, which I do, I would still be able to watch that episode. There is nothing that Nickelodeon could do about that. This also goes for anime and manga, but really manga as well. Many times, mangakas will change some of the paneling or background or redraw, but once those changes have been printed and made physical, there is really nothing they can do. And speaking of books and manga in general, there is just a different type of feeling of just actually turning the page. I've been wanting to reread the Naruto manga for some time now, and I could have easily done this online by now, but I wanted to actually own the volumes myself and actually be able to hold the physical book in my hand. I also think that digital media is making us way too dependent on the internet. In my city this summer, we had a couple of bad summer storms, so we were without power for 5 days, and we were still able to be entertained by watching DVDs from a portable DVD player. I was able to save my battery on my iPad by reading some of the light novels that I had bought some time ago. Sometimes I joke about if the internet satellites were to be able to fall out of the sky, I would still be able to entertain myself by playing those older PlayStation 2 games or those Wii games, or busting out my DS playing old DS and Game Boy games. I have the complete set for at least 3 or 4 of my favorite TV shows, and I'm working on a small manga collection, so I'm gonna be good for at least a little while. I used to make fun of my mama for still buying individual songs on iTunes. She just bought, when the Renaissance Beyonce album came out, my mama was literally still buying songs. But when AT&T, their service was down, she literally did not skip a beat because she owned those songs. She still has her old CDs and she pop them in her car every once in a while. And another benefit with having CDs are that some of the songs that are not available on streaming services. For example, for a very long time, Apple or Spotify did not have some of the old Aaliyah songs, but since she had the CDs, she could still listen to them whenever she wanted without the help of YouTube, because what are those music companies gonna do? Unburn them from your CD? I still definitely think that physical media still has a place in today's society, especially because companies want to control you, control what you see and how you see it. And I think that it is still important to actually own the things that you like, from records to video games, because once you own it and it can't be altered, changed, or taken away from you.